The year started off with Krari, Kruu and 3 of their remaining fledglings. The young crows were constantly competing for dominance. I suspected that there are 2 female fledglings and 1 male fledgling in the group. And the parents had to insert their dominance during every feeding time. Watching these recordings, I learned a lot about body language. With the first signs of spring, Krari started feeding Kruu again. I found twigs all around my terrace. They were already building their nest. And the youngsters wanted to help too. The 3 young birds still looked very content and relaxed. And as cheeky as ever. And Krari, of course, joined in too. Krari, komm. Krari. Komm. I was very curious about where the nest was. When Kruu stopped coming to the daily feeding, I knew she had started breeding, and I watched Krari very closely. Crows are known to hide their nest and always observe their surroundings before flying to the nest. And there it was, visible from my terrace. And now I could see Kruu in the nest for the first time. Here she is cleaning the nest. And you can hear her chasing the youngsters around. I could watch Krari feed her inside the nest. And even preening her. The youngsters were meanwhile busy with other stuff. They were already capable of feeding themselves. As you can see here, one of them caught a mouse. And Krari was not willing to share food with them anymore. And neither was Kruu. Kruu came out of the nest every day whenever she noticed one of them to chase them away. These youngsters are now adults and able to feed themselves. It is now time for them to join a youth gang, find a life partner, and eventually move into their own territory. Here, Krari tries to chase a youngster off the terrace and away from the food. In this situation, Krari tried to feed Kruu. But Kruu had no time for food, she was too busy chasing the youngster away. Krari followed her into the tree with the food in his beak, and while he fed her, the youngster stole the remaining food. This went on for several days until the last two fledglings left the territory. With the youngsters gone, the days became very quiet and peaceful. And then they started again. He was asking constantly for food. And there were two tiny little heads visible in the nest. It was very touching for me to be able to see this for the first time. And because the nest was so close, I could see Krari sleeping in the tree at night. And then, on May 9th, Kruu was out of the nest. Neither Kruu nor Krari flew to the nest. Instead, they took all the food I gave them to hide it. And there was no movement in the nest. I do not know what happened. And to my surprise, they started again right away. Now the trees were in full bloom and their nest was much more secure. It took me some time, but I found the second nest location. And there was already life growing inside of it. In July it was really hot. Finally, on July 13th, the fledglings appeared in the trees. Two very healthy looking babies. Two healthy and always hungry babies, following Krari around everywhere he goes. Both birds are hybrids like their father Krari, with different coloration. I named this one Darky and this one Lighty. Baby crows beg incessantly. The parent birds try to calm them down by preening them. Sometimes Lighty or Darky sat alone on my terrace and then they begged me for food. I did not feed the young birds when they were alone to avoid them becoming dependent on me, but I have to admit it was really difficult at times. The parents are usually nearby and know best when it is time to feed them. This is definitely no feeding time. It is playtime. It's always great to have siblings. After a while, the parents seem annoyed by the begging. But they still feed them. I just love these eating sounds. The youngsters have to learn so much. They have to understand and respect the food hierarchy. During this development phase, the youngsters are very vocal. It seems like they have to practice to find their voice. I could observe that the young birds still make the noises while eating when their parents are present, even if they can eat without these noises when they are alone. Like last year, Krari and Kruu looked really stressed and annoyed after a few weeks. And they started to lash out. Body language and vocalization say clearly, "Leave me alone, stop it." At the end of summer in September, large groups of crows started to fly quietly over our territory in the mornings and in the afternoon. In this situation, I think there was a bird of prey in one of the trees. And then, in the middle of September, our beloved cat Mighty died of old age. We had almost 16 wonderful years with him. It was difficult for me to continue filming and working on the videos during this time. I did spend time with the crows every day, but I just couldn't bring myself to work on the videos. And it is still difficult for me today. Mostly just spend time with the crows and watch them. Like every year after breeding, the molding season began. This makes for some really funny and cute faces. Old feathers fall out and winter plumage grows in. Not all family members molt at the same time, and this year Krari was the last one. Around October, Darky disappeared and another crow appeared in our territory. Kruu was permanently on guard, chasing her relentlessly. This intruder crow seemed to be at home on my terrace, and she was not afraid of me or the cats. She looked really healthy. After witnessing this scene where the intruder crow begs Krari for food, I was pretty sure that this is one of last year's female fledglings. While I was happy to see her being so healthy and coming back, Kruu was definitely not. Since then, she comes back almost every morning, and I named her Trudy. Sometimes she is lucky enough and Krari and Kruu are not nearby and she can collect some of the food I have laid out. But most mornings look like this. Lighty watches on. Trudy is very sassy. I saw her attacking Krari, I saw her attacking Lighty, and she is not driven away by anything Kruu does. Here she is hiding behind the fence. Krari and Kruu do sometimes tolerate Trudy if there is no food involved. Also in autumn we adopted 2 young cats. Together with our senior cat Nori, we now have 3 cats. With 3 cats and 4 crows, it never gets boring. And then winter came. "2023 was a successful year for the crows. Krari and Kruu are healthy and strong, still in full control of their territory. Despite the loss of their first nest, they have managed to raise 2 healthy chicks. For me, it was especially nice to see the first nest and the return of Trudy. I was able to see for the first time how strong, healthy and successful last year's fledglings can be. I will always be grateful for the insight Krari and Kruu give me into their lives. I am sure there are still many secrets in the lives of the crows that I don't yet know about. My insight is only limited to a small part of the lives of these fascinating birds.